do roll call?
McKay?
Here.
Grissom?
Here.
Carter is here. Blakely? Here. Ricardo?
McCardle's here.
And Smith is absent.
Well, we'll go ahead and.
Is it in the other room or something?
No. Sound
Heavy?
You went to go get the flag.
It is the room separator.
They stole it?
Again.
Hey, Joe. This is Emily, she's the head of the library.
Okay.
It's Amanda.
So we'll just stand up and we'll pretend the flag's over here. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have no sheriffs, no highway patrol. Well, we want to go ahead and start with the fire department. That way, with your report.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm Kerry Wright, Division Chief with the Kern County Fire Department.
I'm
Chief
Zach Harris, Battalion Chief in the area here, Roseman to basically halfway to Bakersfield and all the way out.
So I did bring some documentation. It's a Ready Kern. So I wanted to talk about, had a lot of fires, right? We've got a lot of fires countywide. In a normal year, we probably would have had up to this point about 350 to 400 vegetation fires. This year we're well over 1,000 already. So we have in essence had about 2.5 years worth of vegetation fires up to this point. He can tell you he's been on for like 6 straight days.
Yeah, I just got off the turbine fire, 330 acres up there off of Willow Springs, and it's just nonstop all summer long so far.
So we've had an extremely busy year. We don't typically see this big of fires out in the desert, right, in Roseman. So I wanted to come out and talk to you guys a little bit. It doesn't mean we don't have fires out here, because we have fires out here all the time. But if you guys remember what happened last year with all the rain, we now have more vegetation out here, which we refer to as fuel, right? The grass is taller, it's thicker, it's more continuous. So the 1 acre fires that we used to have, that our local Roseman engine and patrol would show up and put it out, now they're becoming 100 acre, 200 acre, 1,000 acre fires, because that fuel is continuous. And it doesn't take a genius to realize the wind blows really hard out here, right? So continuous fuel, thicker fuel, heavy winds. It's why I wanted to bring this information out, because it does a couple things. This is a Ready Kern. There's 3 things that are really, really important for residents. And this is typically stuff that we would hand out in a high fire zone. So in Tehachapi, Lake Isabella, areas of mountainous communities, right? Ready Kern is, when you sign up for that, when there is some type of danger of fire in that area, an automatic message goes out. So if you're signed up for it, you get that message on your cell phone. Genesis, our county is broke up into various sections. So when we have a fire in an area, that's one of the things Zach and I did the other day on the turbine fire, was we had to look to see if there's any homes in the area. If there are any structures threatened, then we look at which zone they're in, and we request either evacuation order or evacuation warning to let people know in the area that there's a fire that they otherwise might not be aware of. And then defensible space. So with that, we've got ready, set, go, right? Defensible space in a mountainous community, and it's equally as important to do it in any area in the county for that matter. We really look at 100 feet. If you can take 100 feet around your structure and clear the vegetation around it, so that means 30 feet around your structure, removing anything that would be flammable. Any type of fuel, any type of wood up against the house, anything that would carry the fire up to your structure. So what we really like is 30 feet out, down to the soil. 100, from a 30 to 100, mowed down. So any fire that came in, it would hit to that mowed down grass, and it's really not going to go very fast, right? And then once it hits the soil, I haven't seen a fire burn dirt, right? So that's really what we're looking at on Ready, Set, Go, being ready to go, having your structure ready to go, because it does a couple things for us. When we show up to a structure, we look at it, and it's either defensible or it's not. If it has a bunch of vegetation, a bunch of overgrown trees, and a bunch of just stuff, like 10 cars on the side of one house, and yard art, and trees that have been dead and left on the backside of the structure, we can't defend that. So we're not gonna spend, not that we're not, but in a fast moving fire, we're not gonna take resources. It wouldn't make sense for either one of us that would manage a fire and take resources on that one structure. They're gonna take forever when we can split them out and go save 10 structures, okay? That's how we have to manage things in an emergency situation. Going back to some of the fires, you guys, we've had a lot of fires. So the turbine fire was 329 acres, willow fire 292 acres, the white fire 5,500 acres. That's uncommon in the desert, right? 1,500 acre West Fire, and just a lot of the Holiday Fire, 420 acres, the Gaskell Fire, there were two of those. One was 403 acres, and unfortunately, one of them had coils of wire, and that was well over $1 million that somebody lost. So again, that's just fuel around that. Most of the fires, we do know one of them was due to lightning, but most of the fires are caused by human. Okay, we do know, I will let you know right now that we don't feel like there's any arsonists out here. There was an arrest made about 4 weeks ago. So there was somebody that was tied to at least one fire.
Can I speak on that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like Chief said, 3 to 4 weeks ago, our arson unit made an arrest. It was a disgruntled ex-government employee who had a family member die. He decided he wanted to burn it all down. He started 8 fires in the Roseman Mojave area. He has been arrested, and we believe that none of the fires since that time, they've all been investigated, and they all have actual causes that are not incendiary or on purpose, essentially. Some of the ones I've been on have been chains dragging, dirt bikes without spark arresters, and then quite a few folks shooting out in the desert. And normally we don't see a lot of those go big either, but kind of the same thing we talked about with this continuous fuel load, these normal little things that we don't even hear about turn into big fires. Some of the other causes that I specifically have been vehicle fires, power lines all along Willow Springs Road. We've had multiple power line fires. A lot of times what happens is you'll get a bird that'll come in, it'll get zapped. Well, that comes down, and it comes down with heat. One of my smaller ones I had up there a couple days ago was that. So we are tying all of these fires to actual causes, and we don't have an arsonist running around that we're worried about. We want to make sure that the community feels safe, that we don't have that. And I spoke with our arson bureau about an hour before coming here and confirmed all of these starts and all of these things. So we want you to feel good about what we're doing and that we don't have that happening currently.
Is it required to clear 15 feet from your house now? Is that required for the fire department?
It's not a requirement unless you're in a high fire zone.
Okay.
So a state response area, Fraser Park, Pine Mountain Club, Lake Isabella, Kernville, Tehachapi, Stallion Springs, Bear Valley, all those high fire zone areas. And your insurance looks at those areas. If you're in a high fire zone, the best rating you can get is about an 8. And the higher the number, the higher the risk that your structure will burn, right? Because you have fuels around you. You have bigger fuels, you have timber. And you have the topography that adds to the difficulty of putting a fire out, right? Access, less hydrants, you're further away from a fire station. If you're more than 5 miles from a fire station and more than 1,000 feet from a fire hydrant, your insurance is higher. Because the insurance company, it's a business, right? They know that if you're more than 5 miles from that station, it's gonna take them that much longer to get there. And you're more than 1,000 feet from a fire hydrant, that means that's a lot of work. We only have 800 feet of 4-inch hose on our engine. So that means we have to have more people. They only allow us to put 3 people on an engine. We really need 4, but it costs money, right? So insurance companies look at that. If you don't have a secured water supply, meaning a fire hydrant or a tank that is providing us water, we carry 750 gallons of water on our engines. And that's good enough for like a room and content fire, but when a structure is well involved, 750 gallons will protect the next structure. It's not gonna put that structure out.
Can you still burn tumbleweeds with a permit?
You can, but you need to go through the Air Pollution Control District. That's a whole nother issue. Some of that is gonna be in that documentation. It makes sense that you would not want to do that on an August 15th day when the winds are 35 miles an hour, the humidity is 10%, and it's 105 outside, right?
And you'll still be held liable, as, you can have a permit.
They tell you when you can burn.
They tell you when you can burn, and just because you have the permit to burn tumbleweeds doesn't mean you can every time, One of my fires on this side was.
I know you have to call in.
Yeah. But just because the APCD gives you the go-ahead to burn, doesn't mean it's a safe time for you to burn fire-wise. So it's always a good idea, even if the APCD says it's okay, to contact the local fire station. Because they may tell you, hey, no, we have sustained 15-mile-an-hour winds today. We don't approve you burning. You should not be burning today. So it's 2 different jurisdictions that you really need to pay attention to when it comes to burning, especially during fire season.
So APCD, Air Pollution Control District, right? They're concerned about the air we breathe. So that's where they're coming from. It's safe to do so. We're concerned about not just that fire that you're caring for, but that we let the station know it's happening, because somebody's gonna call that in and we're gonna have a full response coming to a planned burn. And that puts people on the streets at risk, right? We're going code 3 to a call we shouldn't be going to, and it happens. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen in our career, but it happens throughout the nation that code 3 accidents do occur. Some of the other things we didn't talk about, 4th of July, right? Around that probably week, 3 days before, 3 days after, and 4th of July, fireworks started vegetation fires. So it's sometimes people just need to think before they do. It's okay to do that. It's okay to go out and shoot. It's okay to go out and ride your motorcycles, but just do it with thinking about where you are and when you do it. Another good thing too, I know there's so many helpful people in this world, but we show up on incidents and everybody wants to help us. And they want to talk about it. And hey, I know my cousin, he knows this guy that knows this guy, and he saw someone, he overheard someone did this. We're trying our best to protect lives and property. If you know something for a fact, or you know somebody's in a house that we need to get them out, that's important information. But stuff that we can wait 30 minutes or an hour or 3 hours, stay there. I'm not asking you to leave, but there's a time and place for that information. And when an incident is escalating, is not the time or the place. Where people can help, if they know something, give us really good directions. It's amazing some of the reporting party information that we get. Turn left at the White Rock. Which White Rock? Right? What is the address? Where are you? If they would take those few minutes to find out where they are and guide us in, it'll save a ton of time. And then have somebody, if it is a long dirt road or a way in, a lot of times we'll hear There's a white truck with its flashers on at this location. Perfect. We'll be able to see that right on the road, right? We're coming in, we'll follow that in, and if there's multiple people, have that person stay there, someone else guide us into the location. That's what's helpful. Not having, I've been on fires or en route to fires where people literally pull over on the side of the, not even sometimes on the side of the road, in the middle of the road so they can get their best Instagram posting. And there is nothing more frustrating than that, because number one, they can become another incident for us right in the middle of the road. And number two, they're prohibiting us from actually getting to the incident and doing our job. So that's a lot of times where we call in our buddies with KCSO or CHP to help with traffic control, to help with get those people out of the road, because we know we're not the only resources coming in. We know we might have 3, 4, 5 more engines coming in, and when he gets on scene, he has a good idea of what it's going to take to actually put this fire out, and he's usually requesting additional resources. So, any questions for us?
Pretty much covered.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys coming
hand
out.
that information out. You can go to kerncountyfire.org. That's our website. You can go in and pull some of those links. There's some QR codes on there. I highly recommend you sign up for Genesis, Ready Kern. That way when that information goes out, you get it in a timely manner.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
KCSO, Sarge, appreciate it.
Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm a Senior Deputy Giorgio with the Kern County Sheriff's Office. I'm actually assigned to the Roseman substation. Brought some statistics again with us. So out of the month of July, we had responded to 536 calls for service. A good majority of that is we're still seeing a lot of thefts and stolen vehicles. And then we're also seeing a lot more our proactiveness, our deputies going out there and actively looking for subjects increase. And I think a lot of that is we've had a lot of trainees coming out to patrol, and we have a lot more field training officers out here now than we have seen in the past. So they're being a little bit more proactive and going around and actively looking for people right now. Other than that, I have not heard anything about our substation possibly opening up. I don't know if they're going to start breaking ground. I know we did purchase a building right by Hall Ambulance, and I believe that they are still working on the renovations for that. So hopefully you'll see deputies in the area more often. And then with that, we're also seeing, I think we have another 3 to 4 deputies coming out from field training here as long as they pass. Should be in the next couple of months. So we'll also have more deputies out pretty soon. Yes.
Love it, love it.
Starting to get our numbers up. Still got a lot of work, but we're getting there.
How many deputies do we have currently in Roseville?
In Roseman alone, assigned to Roseman, I couldn't even tell you. I think we have probably about 6 right now, and 1 senior deputy, 1 sergeant. Our numbers were way less than that. We're still running out of a super substation, so we cover multiple areas, not just Roseman. And during the day, we have I think we have 7 deputies on right now. During at least the daytime shift, including a senior or 2 seniors and then a sergeant, where those numbers were about 4 deputies covering multiple areas just at least a year ago. So it's slowly getting better.
Which building is statewide?
The building that's next to Hall Ambulance, right there on the corner of Diamond and Roseman Boulevard. So I believe the county has purchased that building, is what I've been told. And it's going to be a shared building with the district attorney's office. They're going to have an investigator there as well. So that's what I'm being told.
That's the little white building north of Hall.
North of Hall, yes. I think it was an old Century 21. Yes.
All right, no, thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
That's some good news. Good news. All right, Carlo.
Oh, hi. Might as well just stay here. Carlo Bassano with Assemblyman Tom Lackey's office representing him. There's the Assemblyman right in the legislative format report. The Assemblyman is pretty busy in Sacramento. We have till the end of this month to pass all bills. They will be closed on the 1st of September. They're officially closed, so they will work all the way to midnight on Friday, I think it is, maybe even Saturday. And so they're going to go as long as they can. And the reason why is there's so many bills that got to be looked at. Right now, they said that there's a suspense file, and that means that these are bills that may or may not make it. And we're not going to put our best efforts. We'll put them over here in this corner, and we'll look at them at the end. That file is 550. There's 380 or something like that in the Assembly, and the rest of them are in the State Senate. It's a pretty big file, but they're taking their time going through the bills that they're really pushing for. And the Assemblyman has gotten a bill through just today, 3083, AB 3083, that the Senate passed. It's going to go to the governor. It has to do with expanding domestic violence orders to cover victims. And but we were just so happy it passed. I mean, that's like you get 15, 20 bills, goes down to 12, and then all of a sudden it goes down to 10. So every time we pass something, we're really happy about it. If you have any questions about any bill, this is a good time. Our office is open. Please let us know what your opinions are. 661-267-7636, or you could email me at my, I'll leave my business card up here, and to let us know where you guys stand, what you guys think. And in the meantime, if you run into any questions about an agency or the state that may be affecting you or handcuffing you or delaying you, maybe in an application, we have forms to ask you to fill out so we can assist you in prompt service, okay? Really works well with DMV. For some reason, they just kind of forget things, and all of a sudden we can call them up and they go, oh, that guy. Oh, no, we already sent it in the mail. Oh, okay. We already sent his license in the mail, so we're happy to do that for you, and that's just part of the service. And if you have any other questions, please let me know, or let us know. The only big thing is, I know why. This is why I really, I'm excited about it, sorry. There's a public safety forum being held in Palmdale. I know it sounds terribly far, but it's the Doubletree Hotel. It's right down to 14. I don't think it's too far. If you're an interested party, maybe a small business, maybe a bigger business interested in protecting your property, please come to that. There is going to be a big lineup of people showing up. The sheriff of LA County is not able to come, but he's sending his lieutenants. And CHP is going to show up, City of Lancaster, City of Palmdale. They're all interested in reducing crime, and this is a good place to talk about public safety. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next time.
So I'm gonna stand over here and see if I can waving my arms around, making the air flow.
Knock down the signs.
No, I knocked down the signs. I didn't knock down the signs. The signs fell. The signs fell down when I was talking to Natalie, and I was standing in front of Natalie, and the signs hit the floor. Anyway, enough of the funny business. So, I'm sure all of you realize this and know this, but the supervisor has resigned. The Board of Supervisors voted to allow the position to be on the November ballot. That was on Monday. By Friday, anyone who wanted to run for the post had to file by Friday. State law says that to be included on a ballot, it has to be no less than 88 days before the election. And Friday was 88 days. So there wasn't any flexibility in that. However, now there are 6 individuals running for the 2nd District Supervisor's position. And that's all I can say about that. In the meantime, B3K, which is kind of a economic development group. It's an economic development group. They, along with the Griffiths Institute, have gotten a $2 million grant to establish an innovation hub in East Kern. Don't know exactly where it's going to be located, probably at the Mojave Airport Spaceport. It's not written in stone yet, but it will bring some much needed benefit to the aerospace industry in East Kern. So, aside from that, we're happy that Pacific Steel is here to make their presentation. That's on Joel. Anyway, yeah, and I understand that there's all kinds of things going on in Rosemont, and it really makes me happy. And the school district had their first day, and all is well in the world.
Jack.
And I did not over.
All right, Jack Mueller, Roseland Chamber of Commerce, Vice President. Let's see, today we had our luncheon, and I love these luncheons. I'd love to get you guys to the luncheon one of these days and tell us about everything. But it's such a good meeting. It's really a casual environment, and there's a lot of people in the community, leaders and stuff that show up, and we have some fantastic conversations and stuff. So, it's a less formal environment, so it makes it a little more casual for everybody to just kind of talk about things and without a camera on and that kind of stuff. But it was a great meeting, and I would love to invite anybody who wants to come to it every month, third Thursday at the Roseland Guidos. We have a luncheon. So I'd love to get you guys, chairs, CHP, fire, give them our luncheon one time, like the guests of the period, tell us what's going on in the community. The other thing that I have is September 21st is our Armed Forces Day Parade. I think we got a theme, and I'll run by everybody Tuesday night. But it has to do with future technology and stuff like that in the military. And other than that, we're going to be working on the Christmas parade. The Christmas parade, we do a food giveaway, toys giveaway, clothing giveaway. Last year was such a huge success that we ran out of toys, we ran out of food. I think we had some clothing left, but a lot of that went as well. So we're trying to make it a little bigger event this year so that we can kind of meet the demand of the community. So, and that's about it. Anybody got any questions?
Do you have a date for the Christmas parade?
It's the first Saturday. I'm not sure what that is.
December 7th?
Yes.
And what time is the armed forces?
It starts at 10 a.m. And I should get the invitations out to you and Tom soon, probably next week.
Okay.
And the big charities, and I gotta give a share for great and stuff like that. I'm trying to get some of the other board members to do it. I'm leaving next year, sell my house, so I'm not going next year. So.
Barbara, something
Be a big project for me when I go to do it.
This is my favorite, like, every week.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Barbara Gaines, Superintendent in Southern Kern. Actually, it's day 2, Karen, of school today. We started yesterday. And as I was sharing at Chamber this morning, something really kind of has been striking me funny so far is that usually on the very first day of school, because of the transportation and the traffic issues, mine and my administrative assistant, our phones ring off the hook. But yesterday I went as far as to check to see if our phones were working, because we did not get one call. And I was like, this is beyond crazy, because usually a lot of the calls come from the Glendower and the Roseman Elementary campus right over here. But we did, so that was a great start to a new year. As I've said many times, our enrollment is up in Southern Kern. Roseman High Early College campus has 950 students as of today, and they're still enrolling. West Park Elementary has over 1,000. So as we have a bond on November 5 election, and the name of that measure is Measure H, as in Harold. So that's all I can say about that at this time. We're doing a lot of construction. Those of you who we were very happy to have Assemblyman Lackey come out and visit our new campus at Tropico Middle School. 7 new buildings, 28 classrooms, a new track, and all that wonderful stuff. And I'm hearing nothing but great news from the kids. If you've been in the classrooms, you would understand the classrooms have furniture, much like the color in his board over there. There's tangerine, there's blue, there's
Teal.
apple green, there's burgundy. But I did some research, and these are stimulating colors for the mind and the brain. So I'm not sure how the teachers are liking them, but it matches the carpet. So if you can get the gist of that environment, but they're beautiful classrooms. And so as one project ends, we just got DSA approval yesterday for a new project here at Roseman Elementary School. The high school cafeteria is slated to be finished in December, early January. And we also are already in DSA for West Park, 5 new buildings at West Park Elementary. And so we'll see, it's a lot of construction going on right now. And some other projects at the high school. We're doing a new weight room, and we're doing a new dance room at Roseman High, and we're putting in a new locker with showers and offices for the PE teachers and for the coaches for the various sports. So very, very busy right now in Southern Kern. And finally, I'll tell you, I don't have official data on this, but I have preliminary data that our test scores in Southern Kern 23-24 went up in all of the content areas tested. Our chronic absenteeism went down, and our attendance went up. Usually when chronic absenteeism goes down, attendance is up. So we're sort of excited to see that officially come out from the state of California. So yeah, any questions?
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
So RCSD, anything you gonna help?
Well, like I said, chamber meeting and trying to sell their interest in the water bank. Everything's good financially. There's 2 positions open. One of them's water treatment plant, and one of them's public relations. And everything's good. The rates are going up in October. They go up every year in October. And that's about it. And I have to go to a board meeting at 7 o'clock. Amanda here's from the library.
Yeah, that's what we'll have her introduce yourself and
Sure.
Stand up.
Hi, I'm Amanda Stevenson. I know a couple of you from other things, but I'm the supervisor of the Roseman Library here. I took over from David Santos in February, the end of February, and it's kind of been hitting the ground running because we had our summer reading and lunch at the library programs in June and July. So finally getting my feet under me a little bit. So, but I'm happy to be here, and nice to meet you all. So.
we'd like to welcome you every month to come and give a little.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's just something I forgot to mention from the chamber. Clearway Energy gave the chamber $3,000 dispersed to Roseman Little League and Roseman Library. So Roseman Library got $2,000 that we wrote a check for, and we also issued the check for the Little League and $1,000 for Roseman Little League. So I just want to make that mention officially for Clearway, thanking Clearway for their contribution to the community.
So, Mark, the floor is yours.
Okay. Through this without anything falling down would be great. So this is only the second time we've presented using shadow or show boards, so we're a little rusty maybe. But Mark Olson, Vice President of Operations for Pacific Steel Group. We have a project that was approved through CEQA in March of this year. We're working with the county now on mitigation binders, and I guess our grading permit is ready to be issued once we meet on the 22nd with the county for the mitigation binder. But it's a project to manufacture steel, specifically reinforcing steel. I'll talk a little bit about who Pacific Steel Group is. It's a California company. We're a California company that we're one of the largest reinforcing steel subcontractors in the United States with a West Coast presence, but most of our business is in California. About 90% of our business is in California. our two big markets are the Los Angeles market and the Bay Area. We have about 1,200 Californians working for us today. Most of those union iron workers that take fabricated rebar and install it into construction projects throughout the state. So large infrastructure like hospitals and stadiums and high rises, water treatment plants. So about 75% is in the private sector, 25% public sector. And today we have to procure rebar for our business by out-of-state producers because the state of California doesn't produce steel anymore, not a pound of it, and certainly not reinforcing steel. The last steel manufacturing facility in Rancho Cucamonga closed in 2019. That business was moved to Phoenix, Arizona. So California lost out on really the economic benefit of manufacturing reinforcing steel. So it's a challenge for us because that's a lot of transportation costs for us now to go buy that material that's in hundreds of miles away and then transport it back into the state. But we're also talking about significant emissions associated with that transportation. And it's a twofold problem because California has an abundance of obsolete scrap metal, particularly the Los Angeles area. So what happens today is most of that scrap gets loaded into containers and shipped overseas, and the rest of it gets put in rail cars and trucks and shipped to these out-of-state producers to manufacture rebar, and then it gets shipped back. So you double your transportation emissions. So this project really is to localize the supply chain, to manufacture steel close to the location where it's ultimately going to go into a concrete structure. But we want to do it in a very responsible way. We want to invest in state-of-the-art. So, we're going to have integrated renewable energy behind the meter, providing I'll say about 40% of the electricity that we need to manufacture the steel. We're going to have carbon capture system. This will be the first time in the world that carbon capture will be attached to a steel manufacturing facility. So we'll reduce, it says 80%, it's actually closer to 90% of the CO2 will be captured, purified, and used in food and beverage. Every time you have a soda, there's CO2 that needs to be injected into that soda. That's the level of purity that we're looking for our CO2. We're going to have emission control technologies that are state-of-the-art, never been used in the steel industry before, but we're going to have, this will be the cleanest steel manufacturing facility in the world. We will have attention from the steel industry from across the world looking at this site here just north of here. It's probably a 15-minute drive north of here off of Sierra Highway. We also made the decision to eliminate natural gas in the process. So this will be the first steel plant in the world that doesn't use natural gas. We've electrified all the processes in the plant, and then we have some cold refractory practices that we'll utilize to allow us to be able to melt steel and manufacture steel without natural gas. And if anybody has any questions, you can interrupt at any time. Grab this.
When's it gonna be operational?
January 2027. Yes, so we anticipate that we will, we're in the process now, I'd say mid-September, we'll mobilize some construction offices on the site and start doing some clearing activities. And then by the end of the year, we'll be working on grading, and then foundations, probably March, April. We want to kind of get out of the rainy period for the foundation work. Some of those are deep foundations.
How many people is it gonna employ?
400, you're getting ahead. About 400 employees. So what we're doing is we're consolidating some of our fabrication shops. So we have 5 fabrication shops in California: Fresno, Napa, San Diego, Bloomington, and Fontana. We're going to consolidate Fontana, Bloomington, and Fresno into this location. So we're going to produce, we're going to fabricate, and we're going to ship one time to a job site. So we'll have drivers moving steel, about 150 fabricators working 2 shifts, and we'll have 180 employees that are operating a steel manufacturing facility. And then we'll have some contractors providing support for us for some processing work internally, and then of course security.
I'm just curious, why are you capturing CO2 and natural byproducts, trees and plants?
That's the world we live in today.
That's what gets us
That's the
started.
world we live in today. No, I understand, and we could probably talk for a while, but I probably shouldn't. But we are capturing CO2. So, the whole industry is under a lot of pressure. Steel industry. If you look at the steel industry globally, it accounts for about 7% of the overall CO2 emissions, and there's a lot of pressure on the industry to eliminate CO2 in the process.
Does that mean we start cutting down trees?
What's that?
Does that mean we start cutting down trees and reduce our CO2?
Yeah.
That's
Preaching to the choir, I totally understand and get it. Anyway, we got CO2 carbon capture, and it's just the nature of the steel making today. So every steel company, the big ones, the big corporate steel producers, are all looking at ways to reduce CO2 emissions. None of them have really found, or you'll see a lot of the big corporate steel producers greenwashing their products, calling it zero carbon, but they're going out and buying renewable energy credits or carbon credits. In this case, we're actually pulling CO2 out of the combustion process for manufacturing steel. And I don't know if many people know this, but about 70% of the steel in the United States today is manufactured using obsolete scraps, which are recycling of scrap metal, old automobiles and appliances, and so it's a very circular process today, where we take scrap metal, we melt it, we add some alloys to it to get the seismic properties that we need here in California, and then all of our, I'll say, co-products from the process have another utilization elsewhere. Like, for instance, we have a product called slag. It's part of the steelmaking process. We process that and sell it to the cement manufacturers because they use it in their kilns to lower CO2 emissions. So you're not going to get away from that. But just some graphics of what the steel manufacturing facility will look like. Bring that up here. But we're excited about it. We've been in the CEQA process for several years now. I moved to Tehachapi in August of 2021 for this project, and so now we're finally going to see some action and some activity. So you'll see it very soon. Based on the last meeting we had, we presented to the chamber. There was a lot of concern about construction and traffic, and bringing in construction jobs. We'll probably have it. I think the peak is around 600 construction employees. We're looking at ways that we can bus employees from accommodations, local accommodations, so that we can minimize the amount of traffic that this project creates. So we'll do everything we can to try to mitigate those impacts and those issues, because it's a big concern for us too. So 515 is an average construction jobs to build this over a 2-year period. It's going to generate over $600 million in investment in Kern County. The project's $629 million. Property tax revenues over $36 million in the first 10 years, and then, as I said, 400 high-paying, family-sustaining jobs. These are going to be good jobs for people, and certainly we want to hire as many people from Kern County as we can. So we're going to make a big effort to make sure that we can attract and hire Kern County people. Not to say we're, Palmdale, Lancaster is right here, so I'm sure we'll see a fair amount, but we're going to do everything we can to try to keep a lot of that here. And then we'll have sales tax revenue as well, 22 to 32 million in the first 10 years. So just overall, look at the economics for this project.
Now, Mark, since you're going all electric and you're going to be bringing in a lot of electricity, have you thought about maybe setting aside some of the property for like a big EV charging areas that you're gonna have electricity coming over there?
EV charging area for like
For electric cars and stuff
for
like that.
employees?
I mean, no, I mean, for, you know, I mean, there's nothing out here, and that would help attract a lot of businesses, people traveling down the 5 and the 14, and
Yeah.
the military people out there that have no place.
One thing that I mean, just internally looking at our trucks, we want to be able to at some point have, and we're putting in the infrastructure for charging stations for our trucks, so at least we could eliminate some diesel emissions and move to the EV once that becomes more economical, right? Because a lot of that steel goes to the Bay Area and LA, and you know how traffic is, so we have concerns right now on how long those batteries can last. But and then we'll have some EV stations for our employees, but we haven't thought about, you know, I'll say in general a large EV station. It's certainly something that would be nice to have for sure. So that's a quick overview of the project. We're getting very close, as I said, and within a month you'll start to see some activity. You'll start to see construction office trailers go up on the property and some signage. So we're excited. Finally getting ready to do some action instead of working out of the house. I'm tired of working out of the house.
Is it all gonna be truck or you can truck in rail?
We have a UP line that runs along there, as you know, but a lot of steel plants use rail because they ship long distances, and they have to bring in scrap from long distances. And you know, as I said, the facility in Phoenix, Plymouth, Utah, Kingman, Arizona, they all can't get enough scrap in their area, so they're pulling it out of Los Angeles. They're either pulling it with trucks or rail. But because we're gonna have access to scrap locally and close, really don't need rail. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for us to use rail. And then our plan is to take fabricated goods, which doesn't transport well in rail cars, to job sites.
Oh, the reason I was asking is there is no rail there around, so that's why I was curious.
Yeah, we have the UP line, and we started working early on in the project 4 years ago with UP, and it got very challenging working with them. So we said, you know what, I don't think it's going to be worth $10 million. I think it was going to be from what they wanted us to do. We said it doesn't make sense for this project. Yes.
Can you just give us some idea, what is some of the skilled labor that is gonna be needed to make this project a success?
So automation, robotics, going to be huge for us. Okay, so we need maintenance folks that are, you know, process PLCs, automation. We'll have AI and machine learning. So that's the type of high tech jobs that we'll need, or positions that we'll need to fill. We'll have just mechanical and electrical maintenance as well. Operators will provide training for controlling the process, right? So we'll have control rooms with HMIs and cameras, and most of the work will be inside air-conditioned pulpits and keep people out of, let's say, inherently difficult places to work. But we're meeting with Antelope Valley Community College and CSUB to provide them with job descriptions and the details of the skills we're looking for. And we want to put programs together so that we can provide certificates for people that maybe don't want to go to a 4-year degree path, can still qualify for jobs and do that out of high school, hopefully.
You read my mind. I was thinking for Antelope Valley Community College.
Yeah, we visited the campus, met with the team there, and same with the CSUB facility there, and they're very excited about working with us and helping develop some curriculum.
So the fabricator jobs, will those be automated and robotic as well?
Well, it'll be state of the art, but we'll still need you know,
Great.
75 fabrication employees per shift for the days and afternoon shifts.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and I'm not as I'm a steel guy, so
Mhm.
I've been in steel for 34 years, manufacturing steel. I came aboard because I managed the steel plant in Rancho Cucamonga for 3 years, and I've managed steel manufacturing facilities in Canada, the United States, and so I brought to Pacific Steel Group the knowledge behind the steel. I'm learning the fabrication side of the business, but we'll have many employees that work on the fabrication side, but doing everything we can to help break up the monotony of the fabrication side.
I was just wondering if it was going robotic with your facility, because College of the Canyons actually has a robotic,
Yeah,
welding.
we'll have robotics in the mail too, so we'll have quite a bit.
Is there gonna be labor positions or is it mostly just set up and done?
No, we'll have labor too, yeah. Yeah, we'll hire in, as a labor position and then people have opportunities to train into higher levels of progression, yes.
Now, Mark,
We encourage that.
with the labor, is it something that you can partner with our local schools, so it could be a program to?
Absolutely, entry level, what can we do to help them
Right.
get ready for that?
Right.
Yeah.
No question, I think there's a tremendous opportunity to partner and work together. Yes, sir.
How big is the building, and is it a single story?
Oh, no, it's very large.
That's the best. No.
Yeah, I don't have to, I mean, it's probably 125 foot, 140 foot maybe for the top of the tallest building, which is the melt shop.
140 feet tall?
Yes.
Looks like
It's like 10 stories.
Yeah. It's a big facility.
And are there gonna be people working on those floors, elevator, we're talking like that, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
That
most
tall.
people will be working in control rooms. Most of the work anymore in the steel manufacturing facility is done using cameras and automation, automated cranes. So, I mean, we'll have people working throughout the facility at times. If we are down, we're gonna have an 8 to 12 hour maintenance shift, downtime, once a week. We'll have, an annual outage for 7 to 10 days where we have people maintaining the facility so it can continue producing at a high level for the rest of the year. So we've had many meetings with the fire department, as you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have fire loop and backup water tank and, you know, all this stuff. And part of the economic benefit is we're also providing $100,000 per year for a local fire group. I'm not sure how that's structured, but,
It goes directly.
every year we operate.
Not really. Concrete tilt up?
No,
No?
it'll be, pre-engineered metal buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, pre-engineered metal buildings, you know,
Are they adding radio? I used to be in fire prevention, so concrete tilt up obviously doesn't work, these don't work in them.
yeah.
So they actually add radio communications inside.
Yeah,
so
we'll have radio communications inside as well. Yeah, for sure.
They'll test it before they sign it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we wanna ensure that, you know, we're in lockstep because fire prevention's important in a steel manufacturing facility too. We're
Yeah.
dealing with 3,000 degree molten steel, so, we need to make sure that we have all of our safety processes and procedures covered.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big building, tall building. We don't have any trucks out here. A truck would be like a ladder truck, right?
Yeah.
Most people call a fire truck a truck. To us, that's a fire engine. Fire truck is a ladder
Yeah.
that could get up to higher levels.
Yeah, it's not, when you look at a melt shop like this, it's not like floors, like there's 15 floors at all. It's a big open building.
Okay.
Because the furnace is big, it holds 43 tons of liquid steel. And then you have a fume capture system, so it's, that's up at the roof. That's really why it's as tall as it is, because it's the fume capture ductwork and equipment that brings the emissions to a fume treatment plant, or all the emissions control equipment. So what we'll do is we get through this before we, start anything up. We'll have you guys out and tour the facility, ask a lot of questions. So we did that a lot in Rancho, and I continue to just have a close relationship with you guys.
Sounds like you guys are gonna get some new toys. Sounds like you guys are gonna get some new toys.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We need a truck out here.
I was gonna say, maybe you'll get a truck next year.
Or at least in Hatchville. Yeah, we're closer.
This is exciting for us.
So I'd be happy to come back and provide updates as we go along.
Anytime you want to come.
Yeah. Sounds great.
So you know when you're available, we'll make one for you.
Very good, very good. Well, it's an exciting project for us. Certainly is by far the largest investment we've ever made in our company. So it's a big project. I think it's an important project for California. California just exported emissions and provided all that economic benefit to neighboring states, and you need rebar. You need rebar in California to continue with even climate resilience and seismic protections on bridges and roads and buildings. You have to have rebar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. New business real quick. Minutes from July. Anybody see anything?
So I need to correct my graphics.
Okay.
I forgot that one E the one time.
And then my title is Grant.
I'd have a motion to approve after correction.
Motion.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Starting down there with Tim. Tim, do you have anything?
Does anybody know what the progress on the skate park is?
It is the refab, right?
So the skate park, they're having to, it's a pre-manufactured components that come in.
Yeah, I've
And
seen
they're
those.
being built.
All right, my daughter and her friends were really excited to hear when that's about it.
Of course.
We have people asking.
Yeah, it is kind of exciting to have that coming in. It is a process and they're having to
Okay.
manufacture.
All right, that's all I have.
I have nothing today, other than thank you very much for everyone's taking the time to attend this meeting.
I'll echo that. I have 3 quick things, probably more for Karen, but just someone comes to me or I hear things multiple times. I think we were all questioning the left turn stuff disappearing over by AMPM. And I know we had kind of talked about that, nobody really knows.
Right, and I don't know anything about that, and I did notice it.
And I'll tell you this, and only reason I bring it up now is because after that, after the chamber luncheon, I had to go to Roseman Elementary to drop off some stuff. I'm leaving, I'm behind somebody who wants to go straight across, and I'm waiting, we're all waiting, and the traffic is getting heavy because it's through base traffic. The person decides they're just gonna go, and almost an accident.
So this is at,
Glendower.
and Rose, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That one, I've had a couple parents over the last year just talk about the stop at I keep calling it Westland and Eagle Way. So we have a bus stop there, but also there's somebody who constantly parks their RV, so you can't really see when you're driving. And because we have the bus stop and people coming through and there's no stop sign either way, I know students have been a little concerned and scared because cars will come flying through and another car, and if there's an accident right there, the students are right on the curb.
Gotcha.
So it's a little.
So this is at Westland and Eagle Way?
Yes, Westland, you call it Wasteland. It's not Wasteland. Westland and Eagle Way.
And there needs to be a stop sign?
There really needs to be a stop
that's fine.
sign, yeah, at least one direction. And then I wanted to say a thank you to the sheriffs, and I know CHP isn't here, but from what I've heard from parents continually since the first day of school was a lot of the calm down the traffic with seeing your presence out here on the first day of school, and we really, really appreciate it. And I know the staff and the families really appreciate it because they see you guys, and all of a sudden everybody's a perfect driver, which that's fine by me. To keep the kiddos
They're
safe.
perfect or they're not perfect.
Yeah.
They get confused.
But I wanted to thank you guys for that. That's it.
No, he does something. My wife will yell at me if I don't want to say I forgot to ask Karen. So the light on 15th Street going left, going north, it's like glitching when it goes red. It just goes blank for like 10 seconds.
Oh, this is at 15th Street, Rosamond Boulevard?
Yes.
That's just past the railroad track, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And then I'll ask you guys, my son will yell at me if I tell him the firefighters are here. I didn't ask this because that's what he wants to be. He's 13. He would love you guys to bring an Explorers program to this part of the county because he like very specifically wants to work for your fire department when he's older. And he won't let me take him to Lancaster for the Explorers. You have to save me the ability to So.
We do have an Explorers program.
Yeah, in Bakersfield.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's like what his wants to do for like years now.
And then when he gets a little bit older, we have our crew program, which is right out of Tehachapi. We do have a crew in Tehachapi, so, and they go throughout the whole county. But
We did have a offshoot of our Explorer program in Rosamond approximately 5 years ago. And we had 4 or 5 young men and women that were part of that. And Captain Chris Wells was the liaison with the main branch in Bakersfield, and that was going really well. And they would come down. They would essentially do some field trips to Bakersfield and see our fire academy and our headquarters and do those things. And just like the Explorer program in LA County, they would be at the station doing training, getting to go on calls and stuff. So I know Captain Chris Wells was an engineer out here, and he's now a captain. He's probably going to try to come back. So if he gets back into the Rosamond area, he would be a good contact to make regarding that Explorer program.
Thank you guys. And also thank you for everything you've done. I mean, this summer has been brutal for you guys, and I'm very
Whenever
thankful.
we get to see you guys, we are so busy.
my wife says the same thing.
We have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair.
That's it. All right. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you.